So last month, my roommate Chad decided he needed a new hobby after briefly attempting to become a succulent influencer on Instagram. He read somewhere that sourdough starters are like houseplants you can eat, and since his last cactus met an unfortunate end, RIP Spiky, he figured it was time to try his hand at bread. He mixed up some flour and water in a jar, stuck it on the counter, and promptly named it Bread Pit. Things were pretty chill at first, just a little bubbling, a little feeding, and a lot of Chad talking to it like it was a Tamagotchi. 1 week in, Chad started getting really into it. He bought a thermometer for the kitchen, began tracking humidity levels, and even got Bread Pit a tiny chef's hack from Etsy. On day 7, he insisted we throw a birthday party for the starter. I thought he was joking, but by 7 p.m., our apartment was full of friends singing happy birthday to a jar of bubbly goo while Chad gave a toast about yeast potential. Someone even brought a card. I was mostly there for the free cupcakes, but I'll admit, it was oddly wholesome. But then, things started escalating. Chad began leaving motivational notes for Bread Pit. You rise above the rest, and I caught him watching Great British Bake Off with the jar on his lap. One morning, I stumbled into the kitchen to find a tiny pair of sunglasses propped on the jar and a sign that said no autographs, please. Guests started asking how the starter was doing before they asked about us. Worst of all, Chad started referring to Bread Pit as his breadwinner and suggested we split rent 3 ways. Yesterday, I came home to find Chad interviewing our sourdough starter for a podcast segment titled Come and Get It. At this point, I realized, our starter hadn't just risen, it had become the upper crust of the apartment.